Hi. Hear this.
And I'm Brian, and we're the Pixel Com Squad. No, that's not a desync. They're just the rest of us are just here in the background.
They're
just
ghosts, okay? They're with us in spirit. Anyway, this game is Hotaru no Niki. It is a game. Yes.
Yes, that's what we do, Ariel. We play games.
That is what we do. We play games. Some better than others.
Is this one of the better ones?
I know. I was making fun of you.
Oh, right. So, par for the course.
So I'm just kind of messing around with the options here. I did try to play it with the controller and immediately gave up because the controller controls were horrible. Or I had input lag in something. Actually, no, I had input lag when I tried to use my mouse, like a plug-in mouse. So I had to use the trackpad.
Really?
Yep. I had like a solid second of lag using my plug-in mouse. Yep. Anyway,
really
so
weird.
this game is basically, look at this look at her.
Is that a girl jackalope?
She's a little anime girl. So this game is kind of a puzzly. I'm not even sure how to describe it. Everything is drag and click. So it's not even point and click, it's like drag and click.
Okay.
There is no dialogue. This text at the bottom of the screen is basically the only text in the game, besides saving and loading in the title screen. The story is largely told just through the environments.
Alright.
Which is why I made a joke before we started recording that they really saved money on the translators. So
they probably could have just employed Google and nothing else.
So, yeah, this is Mion. This is the little tutorial section because, again, Mion is moved by dragging and clicking.
Okay, so I take it your mouse cursor is a fairy thing.
Yes, the Firefly, but we can call her. Well, it's
Lumen, I think it's.
Yes, Lumen. I was like, I immediately forgot what her name is.
She's dead.
Yep.
End the game. Thanks for coming.
You know what? There is fall damage sometimes, but not here.
Wait, do you have general health?
No, not really.
Okay.
She is a one-hit KO character.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, that's what makes this game a little interesting. Besides the fact that the other thing I call this is Shimeji the game, because she's this tiny little anime chibi and all you can do is click things and that's it. So if you really like Shimeji, here's a game. Also, I think I die here. No, I don't. Okay, if you try to... No.
Okay, she's not stupid.
If you fall off that edge expecting to land on this platform here, you die. I've done that.
Oh, okay, good. Awesome.
Alright.
So is she, like, in a trance, or is she just choosing to follow the fairy thing?
She is choosing to follow Lumen. Also, these memory seed things, that's what we just bumped into here. And look, we're in her bedroom.
Without horns.
Yes, that is a good thing to notice. I am glad you noticed that.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there was a particular reason that she has horns, or is it just because Animu?
Yes, sort of. Also, okay. I'm not entirely concerned their horns or convinced their horns. They may be branches.
Okay, well, either way, they're vestigial appendages sticking out of her head.
Yes, either way, it is important to notice that distinction here. Because that is one of the elements of the story here, that this Mion here, without branches and horns, doesn't have branches or horns.
Very important detail.
Yes, she's not the same.
So is this how our parents make money? By walking back and forth all day?
Well, you see, their RPG NPCs, so... Anyway, I don't remember which is which, because they're both scientists. One is a botanist, and the other is, like, a chemist or a biochemist, I think, but I always think that the mom is the botanist, but it might be the dad. It's really... I mean, it's not that important, because, again, this is all non-verbal storytelling.
Right. See, I thought they were, specialized, high-ranking Fitbit test subjects.
You know
That's
what?
what I thought the lab codes were for.
The future is now. Also, I didn't point this out, but the TV on the news, there was a mushroom cloud.
Oh, that's significant.
Yes, that's significant. That's going to be a reoccurring... Basically, the news will only ever show the mushroom cloud, I think.
Okay.
Besides the guy on the news being like, look out, there's a mushroom cloud. And then,
Okay, please tell me she didn't grow the branches from nuclear fallout. Please tell me that wasn't like a mutation thing, because that's not how nuclear mutations work.
No.
Okay, good.
No. And she is, for some reason, it seems to be... I think I went the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, go the other screen. Come on.
There's literally only one way to leave this stage, and I went the other direction. So...
Good job. Good job.
Now I'm just like, let's go all the way down, because I've already forgotten how the stage started. Wait, no. Okay. I need to go the other way. Wait, no.
Make up your damn mind, Fairy!
So yeah, underground here, I'm kind of getting a little bit to the... There's two endings to this game. I know I mentioned that before. There's that first ending you get, and then the true ending.
Okay. So this is not your first playthrough?
Oh no, this is my first playthrough.
Okay.
I found this game through Cry. So I watched him play it, and he complained a lot about the controls, but I was like, oh well, it's pretty cute, so I'll try it someday.
Do you mirror those complaints about the controls?
I would like to reiterate that the controls are drag and drop.
That's so weird. I don't even think I still fully understand.
You have to drag the fairies where you want them. And, well, they're fireflies, they're not fairies. Actually, they're not even either, but whatever, the game calls them fireflies. So... yeah, the controls are not super good, and this game is cruel. And it's not hard, necessarily, but, for example, one of the achievements that I get very quickly here is, dying 100 times. Actually, I think there's a dying 10 times before the dying 100 times.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's a good indication of what's in store. But is the purple thing the Firefly's evil twin? Is that what that is?
I can't. No, they're not twins.
Okay. I was wondering where the goatee was, because if they were evil twins, not having it would be unacceptable.
I don't want to go too much into. We do have a pretty damn good idea what the Fireflies are.
Okay.
Right. But not until way later in the game.
Well, how deep is this lore?
Well, considering it's entirely non-verbal, it's mostly just people on wikis going, okay, we're pretty sure it's this.
But it's unconfirmed.
I think I'm gonna die here. Because why am I standing right under this?
It's fine, it's just a crane, right? It's fine.
Why am I standing right under the thing I'm sending Umbra to mess with?
Oh shit, yeah, I see the problem. I see the potential issue here. Wow, okay. Is that really the best? That's not a good play. And there we go. And there it is. That's fine. Why didn't my antler tree branches protect me?
Because they're branches. Okay. Now I got super distracted. I was in the middle of like 400. Yeah. So as a whole, we have a pretty damn good idea what the Fireflies are. It gets a little confusing based on the first ending's boss battle, because the two endings do have different bosses.
Were there bosses in this game?
Yes! Now I remember what I was complaining about a couple minutes ago. Okay, the controls. There are bosses in this game. There are monsters in this game. You can't fight the monsters, except for when you can. But that's only when you have a friendly pellet shooting flower. And by friendly, I mean it just shoots automatically, and it can kill you.
What the fuck?
Everything in this game can and will kill you.
See, like, when you said there was a boss fight, like, that seemed weird to me, because this control scheme doesn't seem like it would be it would lend itself well to combat of any form.
The second boss fight, I think, is the absolute worst in the entire game. Like, the first one, it's just like, okay, this is a little, what's the word? Not obscure, but, like, you're supposed to just sort of figure stuff out, because, again, it's...
Esoteric, you mean?
Maybe.
You think that would... Oh, there she goes.
Yep.
Oh, there she goes.
So, there's a lot of... Alright, let me rephrase my thing. You die a lot, not necessarily because the game is hard, but because the game is hard with the control scheme.
Right.
Which makes it a little unfair, because a lot of my deaths later in the game, as you'll see, are caused by boxes falling on my head. I can't really tell where the boxes are going to fall until they fall on my head.
Well, it seems to me like she should invest in a helmet.
Yes. But, what was I going to say? The other thing I was going to say. Yes, the boss fights. The second boss fight is the worst. Because it is precision timing.
Oh no.
With falling boxes and drag and drop or click and drag controls.
Yeah, see, something like this, it seems more to me like doing it how, you know, have you heard of the game Limbo, right?
Yes, I am familiar with Limbo.
Right, like, that game only had one thing that could really be categorized as a boss fight, I feel like. And most of the time you're just running from it. And
to be fair, and we'll see this pretty shortly, that was the episode where we could keep talking, because I kept the first few episodes pretty short until I started dying a million times every recording session. The first boss is a running away boss. And even with most of the other bosses, technically Mion isn't really doing the fighting.
Right.
Because she's just following the Fireflies. The second boss, she's just kind of tricking it into eating itself. Well, not eating itself, damaging itself. Which, again, is bullshit. We'll get there. And third boss is fucking weird. You're probably not gonna like the third boss. It's probably my favorite design-wise. And, like, the most... Actually, there's a little bit of bullshit in that boss, too. A lot of parts of this game are just unfair. Partially because of the control scheme. Because there are parts of this game where they expect precision from you. And it's a little difficult. Actually, you know what? There are literal parts of this game where they expect precision from you, because you get, you know, those little skill test mazes? Where if you touch the sides, you're zapped.
Yeah, oh no, come on, no!
There are multiple sections like that.
No, like, from what I've seen, like, it seems like going around with a cursor is a little too sluggish.
Oh yeah, Mion is very slow.
Yeah, like, it all seems a little too sluggish to really warrant that type of skill maze thing as a good game mechanic for a game like this.
Yeah. I mean,
It
to be
seems
fair,
to me.
the maze sections are specifically for lumens, so they don't have the kind of lag that Mion has.
Even so, it's just
But
like
even
looking at the
so,
cursor, it kind of seemed like.
well, and
like
it
that a
doesn't
little
help that Lumen, again, in particular, has this little flare she'll do sometimes.
bit.
Like when she does that spiral, that's not always me doing that. Sometimes it is because I just get bored and I just put my mouse all over the place. But no, she has some like stylistic things moved in if you like switch directions too fast, and I swear to God, sometimes that happens in the skill mazes, and I've died from that.
Okay, that's not very good. That's like in Super Mario 64 where you try to turn around and Mario does like a huge run around type thing. I hate that.
Well, hopefully I'll be doing Mario 64 shortly here. Anyway, we've talked for a few minutes past the end of the episode. So, tune in next time for more Desu.